Most men never learn the secret sequence of female desire, and it costs them everything they want. The average guy is raised on a comforting fairy tale. He thinks that deep connection must come before attraction. So he gives too much, shares too soon, and feels too deeply. He loses before the game even starts. The harsh reality is that most men have the order completely backwards. They attempt to offer emotional intimacy when they should be sparking a primal instinct. They work to prove their worth when they should be stirring intrigue. They aim for soulful bonding before a body has even registered their strength, their calm, their silent pull. This misstep is where it all falls apart. She isn't turning you down because you're a bad person. She's pulling away because you're operating outside her biological code. If you look without emotion, you'll spot the quiet war that ruins your chances. You're terrified of coming across as just another guy who only wants one thing. And because of that fear, you act exactly like that guy. Only hidden, unsure, and trying too hard to prove you're not like the others. The split in your mind gives you away. You attempt to be kind, thoughtful, and agreeable, but she senses what's underneath. The fear of failure, the dread of not being picked, the anxiety of not being wanted. The outcome is always identical. You become safe, expected, too soft to be exciting, and not compelling enough to be a man of consequence. Science has understood this for generations. Researchers like David Buss note that sexual selection crafted quick, unconscious likes long before it shaped committed romance. This means instinct comes before story. Sensation exists before intention. Evaluation happens before bonding. Tension is the first step. This is how our species survived. The body picks first. The mind makes up reasons later. But you try to flip the script. You try to prove you're reliable before you prove you're exciting. And when you invert this natural process, you land in the worst possible territory, the friend zone. You're not a threat nor a true possibility. Just another nice guy she appreciates but never aches for. Why do so many men take this slow, losing path? Simple. They're scared of hearing no. But this fear pushes you into tactics that never work, because you try to manage your opinion by offering emotional safety before you offer masculine vitality. When you try to bond without creating any friction, your worth evaporates. Attraction isn't born from premature kindness. It's born from unshakable presence, confident silence, clear intention, and powerful contrast. This is a true order. It has always been this way. And the faster you accept it, the quicker your actions will create real results. What comes next will reveal what few dare to say out loud. How she actually chooses. Why desire must come before affection. And what you must change in your approach to never be seen as a neutral man again. When you grasp this hidden game, you stop behaving like someone pleading for attention and start carrying yourself as a reward. And when a man stands in that position, his entire world shifts, including how women sense him. The first critical error, believing you must earn love before you ignite desire. There's a specific attitude that quietly drains a man's power, and almost no one spots in themselves. It's the automatic urge to try and show your good heart before you demonstrate your instinctive value. The uncertain man presents himself as a provider of emotional support. He praises too fast, helps when it's not asked for, works to be likable in every chat, and tweaks his actions to avoid any awkwardness. He thinks this makes him stand out. But in her mind, this pattern puts him in the social category, not the romantic one. She sees him as useful, but not electrifying. The actionable fix is straightforward. In your next encounter, cut out any behavior that carries the goal of persuasion. Enter the space with calm energy, asking for nothing, simply watching. When you position yourself this way, her brain doesn't file you as eager to please. Instead, it starts to assess you as someone with his own mission, pace, and standards. Biology shows why this path is non-negotiable. In 2019, Rutgers University research demonstrated that the part of the female brain linked to anticipation and reward lights up far more for direct stimuli than for gentle, friendly interactions. In plain terms, her mind decides who is captivating before it decides who is worthy of care. Desire sparks in a moment. Emotional connection builds over time. When you reverse the sequence by giving affection, focus, and emotional investment too early, you place yourself precisely where she feels no instinctive pull. The practical step is direct. Act with solid posture, steady eye contact, deliberate pauses in conversation, and a measured tempo. These signals are read as calm authority, and that is where true wanting begins. There's a gap in understanding that trips up most men. You believe that by showing you're trustworthy, attentive, and committed from the start, you'll gain her respect and interest. But in her mind, this often registers as disguised insecurity. A man who invests too much, too soon, always broadcasts one thing: fear. Fear of loss, fear of not being selected, fear of being invisible. The man who shows he has standards, however, transmits worth. He is engaged but not surrendered. He creates openings but keeps an air of mystery. The application is simple. Mix depth with quiet. Ask questions that reveal her soul, but don't give away your whole story. Create a push and pull between showing interest and holding back. Wanting is born in the gap between what she understands and what she has yet to figure out. Studies back this dynamic. In 2020, the University of Rochester published a paper showing that kindness is seen as attractive only when paired with clear signals of self-assurance and direct interest. Without that, it's instantly viewed as submission. The issue isn't being kind. The issue is being kind because you're afraid. So, the practical move is to calibrate the edge of your kindness. Speak at a slower pace without rush. Be polite without urgency. Show curiosity without trying to purchase intimacy. Her perception shifts entirely when she realizes your decency doesn't spring from need, but from command. Before any interaction, there's one simple method that resets your energy: the intention test. Ask yourself, with brutal honesty, what am I trying to achieve here? Am I trying to be desired? Or am I trying to be approved of? This question exposes the core of your behavior. If you see you're seeking approval, dial down your intensity. Stop over-explaining. Stop compensating. Stop predicting. Take a deep breath. Reset your rhythm and return to your center. When your intention shifts, your energy shifts. When your energy shifts, your presence shifts. And when your presence shifts, how women react to you shifts along with it. When she tests you, it isn't mean-spirited. It's instinctive screening. The biggest emotional pitfall for the ordinary man is misreading any female challenge as a personal rejection. He feels his gut clench, his chest tighten, and he responds by trying to prove he meant no harm. This need to explain himself turns every little test into an assault on his value. But what she's doing is a rejection. It's a biological check. She wants to see if you're solid inside. She needs to know if your energy crumbles under slight pressure. The moment you react with frustration, excuses, or defensiveness, you confirm exactly what she hopes to avoid. A man who loses his center easily. The practical response is direct and quiet. When she pushes, stay calm and offer a natural smile. Not a nervous grin, but the smile of someone who isn't shaken. What she interprets isn't the words you say. It's the composure you display. In the foundations of psychology, the principle of internal security is key. People seek predictability within themselves, not in their surroundings. This means that no matter the setting or situation, what truly counts is how completely you remain rooted in your own being. When she tests you, her goal is clear: to verify if you can maintain your presence even when things feel unpredictable. And most men fail because they rush to reply. They try to solve everything immediately. They strive to be accepted on the spot. The practical skill here is mastering tempo. Don't hurry. Don't fear silence automatically. Use pauses as a tool of assurance. When you control the pace of the exchange, you communicate emotional maturity without having to say a word. There is a vital difference between most men and the few who genuinely attract. It's how they handle uncertainty. The majority reacts. The minority breathes. The common man tries to prove he's right, tries to show he's good enough, tries to smooth over the tension she created. The grounded man, however, absorbs the challenge like someone observing a predictable scene. He doesn't change his tone, speed up, or lose his beat. And this difference is irresistible to her because it shows exactly what she's been looking for from the first minute. Silent emotional strength. The actionable step is straightforward and potent. When faced with a provocative remark, answer with curiosity, not defensiveness. Try something like, "That's interesting. What brought you to that thought?" This flip puts you in the position of the observer, not the accused. Science confirms what female intuition senses, but can't always articulate. In 2013, a University of British Columbia study found that calm, assured facial expressions were rated as far more attractive than overly cheerful ones. In other words, a relaxed focus and firm face communicates more value than the constant smile of someone seeking validation. This shatters the idea that you must be agreeable every second. The practical move is to reduce anxious smiling. Let your smile appear only when you genuinely feel it, not when you think she expects it. When the expression comes from your own choice and not from the attempt to please, it becomes infinitely more powerful. There's a clear method that separates reactive men from centered men. It's absolute neutrality. The more emotional her comment is, the more even your tone should be. This isn't about fake coldness. It's about strategic self-possession. Men who react too fast reveal anxiety. Men who hold their center communicate power. The application is clear and immediate. Before you respond, breathe out slowly. This kills the emotional reflex, calms the body, and reorders your presence. Speak about 20% slower than normal. This slight slowdown creates the impression of dominance and stability. And when you govern your own rhythm, her instinct recognizes the exact kind of man that's rare to find. The natural sequence of attraction, why physical pull comes before love. Even when she says otherwise, the grand illusion that wrecks the modern man is trusting the words and ignoring the instinct. When she says she needs emotional safety first, that she prefers when things move slowly, you are hearing the social script, not the real behavior. Her body never lies. Her stance shifts, her look holds, her breathing quickens, her touch seeks closeness. And all of this occurs before any deep connection is formed. The mistake is taking the dialogue at face value and failing to watch what happens before the dialogue. The practical step is objective. Judge by action, not by speech. Watch the body language, the direction of her feet, the angle of her shoulders, the length of her silences, how often her eyes return to you. These signs tell the truth long before any polite sentence is spoken. The biological bedrock confirms what male intuition already suspects. Research by figures like David Buss makes it clear women assess physical presence, confidence, posture, and energy before they consider romance. The sexual instinct is the primary filter. Always, and this isn't shallow, it's evolutionary survival. The female body responds to the man who projects capability, vigor, solidity, and presence. Only after that does she consider emotional attachment. The practical application is to develop your physical presence as a reflection of your inner worth. Open shoulders, chin level, voice firm, movements decisive. These small displays are read by her subconscious as markers of health, power, and trustworthiness. There is one detail that totally dismantles the belief of the man who tries to be romantic too early. Romance only blooms after instinct is activated. When you rush and try to forge a bond before you've made an impact, you become emotionally predictable, and predictability destroys attraction. The man who awakens desire first doesn't force connection. He creates space. He cultivates a type of presence that she feels before she understands it. And that is what allows real romance to grow later. The practical step is simple. State your interest clearly, but never show desperation. Intention draws her in. Neediness pushes her away. Science reinforces the cycle. A 2015 study in the archives of sexual behavior showed that many women develop deep feelings after experiences marked by strong initial physical chemistry, not before. This dismantles the social story that emotion must come first. In reality, when the body responds first, the mind builds commitment. When the body doesn't react, the mind justifies distance. The practical application is to build tension through pacing. Hold eye contact 1 second longer than normal. Move closer gradually. Speak in a slightly lower register. Minimize sudden gestures. Tension is an invisible language, yet incredibly effective. There is one method every man should learn, and almost none do. The trigger of sexual presence. It's not aggression, not rehearsed charm, not an act. It's a firm gaze with a relaxed face. Intention without worry. Being fully there without trying to speed things up. The practical training is maintaining eye contact for 60% of a conversation while keeping your body still and calm. This type of presence creates polarity, grabs attention, and makes her feel you before she thinks about you. It's in this space that real attraction ignites. If you want to master this dynamic on a level most men never will, you need to understand the deeper code. This isn't about pickup lines or a shallow course. It's an advanced system of emotional intelligence, body language, desire psychology, and techniques that reprogram how a woman perceives your very essence. You won't find this in common online content because this isn't just entertainment. It's applied behavioral science for genuine connection. The central truth that few men have the courage to face is simple. The natural order of female attraction never starts with affection. First comes tension, then comes connection. Only after that comes bonding. Most men fail because they insist on walking the opposite way, offering emotion before offering presence. Try to open their heart when she is still figuring out if you have the substance to be desirable. It's not malicious. It's biology. It's psychology. It's instinct. And when you ignore the sequence, you become emotionally safe, predictable, and easy to read. Men lose because they follow the wrong map. And the harder they try to speed up the bond, the slower it forms. The female mind responds to impact, not devotion. To contrast, not explanation. As Robert Greene puts it with precision, seduction is a game of perception, not intention. It doesn't matter how badly you want to be the right man. What matters is what she perceives in the first few minutes. And if your presence doesn't create any tension, no amount of emotional labor can make up for it. The impression you make comes before any vulnerability you wish to share. This isn't about hiding who you are, but about presenting your strength first. Value is sensed before it's demonstrated. Vulnerability without value reads as neediness. Vulnerability that comes after value becomes true connection. The ultimate application is this. Build the internal identity of a man who has purpose, access, and his own tempo, and only then create room for emotional depth. You don't earn respect by showing your heart too soon. You earn respect by showing your command. The affection she feels doesn't come from the emotional intensity you display, but from the impact you create in her instinct. When your gaze, posture, and silence communicate inner sovereignty, everything changes. Her mind starts working for you. She begins to imagine, to project, to want. And it's that projection that builds feeling, not the other way around. When you understand this, the game finally becomes clear. Now you see the mechanism no one taught you. The hidden order, the underground engine, the code that divides ordinary men from exceptional ones. And once this knowledge settles inside you, you can't go back to your old ways. Because now you know exactly why you failed, exactly why you were overlooked, and exactly what you must change to make sure it never happens again. If you're ready to learn advanced techniques you won't find anywhere else, to dive into the psychology of desire, decode female body language, and master the invisible scripts of real attraction, then take the next step. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. And if this video showed you a new perspective, do me a favor and like this video. It helps the channel Winds of Thought more than you know.